Hello everyone. So a couple of days ago, I made a community post asking, what is your biggest regret in life so far? And I have to say, a lot of the stories that I received were very thought-provoking and made me even contemplate my own life. So I have to say thank you to all of you who shared your stories. Some of my OG subscribers may remember this quote I'm about to share. I've said in a video once, some of us have regrets, opportunities that we wish we would have acted upon, but we didn't know any better, so what is there to regret? If anything, those experiences make us smarter. So instead of trying to change the past, a better idea would be to do everything we can to attract a brighter future. Consider this possibility. What if there is something better planned for your life than what there was before? Then that changes everything. But if we stay stuck in the past, we'll never be open to that possibility. End quote. But once again, I want to mention that this video is meant for relatability purposes, so that we can calm our minds and realize that we are all dealing with similar struggles. But because we have these stories to relate to, it helps us not feel so alone. So I hope God blesses everyone who's watching this video, and I hope you enjoy. Story number 1. As a young teen, 12 to 14, I had a lot of impulsive behaviors that I regret, but I didn't really know how to act at the time or how to prevent that from occurring. I was really awkward, and it would really bother me even to this day. I used to have awful self-esteem because of it, but I'm better now, and I've matured a lot in the last 5 or so years. I'm 18 now, and something I've learned is that growing up takes time, and that it's okay that those things happen because A, they didn't cause any real harm, and B, I was able to learn from them and become a better person moving forward. Story number 2. My biggest regret was being a bully and not apologizing in primary school, or AKA elementary school for those that live in America. I was a naive kid that really didn't know how damaging bullying was. But it's still no excuse for my actions. There was this kid named Kirill who loved marine biology and fish in general. He wouldn't stop talking about it. It's all fine and dandy as a hobby and a passion. But back then, me and my former friend got tired of Kirill, so we decided to get even by picking on and bullying him to shut him up. Completely awful and disgusting, I know, trust me. I'm not proud of it. I even fought and won a fight with Kirill. Not proud of that either, but it's part of this story. I really didn't understand what bullying was back then, or considered what Kirill was going through, and this former friend of mine drifted apart, and we were no longer friends. In high school though, me and Kirill were on better terms, and even hung out during lunch hour at times. It wasn't until after high school I realized how toxic and destructive bullying was, the damage it does to the victims. And it made me think of what I had done to Kirill. I hate myself every day for what I had done to him, and not giving him the proper apology during our time in high school when we sort of became friends. I just figured back then he was cool with me and forgave me when we did hang out during lunch at high school. Still, I regret bullying Kirill in the first place and not giving him the proper apology he deserves. My own family still had no idea I've done this, and it's not something I'm proud of or want to brag about. But it's my single biggest regret, and if I get another chance to see Kirill, I would jump at the chance to apologize for my actions in primary school. Story number 3. I would say my biggest regret was taking my emotions out in the wrong ways. I was bitter from past mistakes and I hurt those around me just because I was unable to process what I was feeling. Thankfully, I've changed, and ultimately, I thank God for allowing me to be humbled, but it still hurts at times. Story number 4. My biggest regret is not having more kids. My son is, along with my wife, the greatest thing that ever happened to me. But after he was born, for a variety of reasons, we never got around to having more, and now we're too old. We tried fostering, adopting, and that didn't work out either. Now he's growing up as an only child, and the fact that he'll never get to have a sibling, and we will never have more children to love, hurts so much. It's like an open wound in our family that I can't fix. Take my advice. Having a family is absolutely worth it, but focus and stay focused on having kids while you're still young enough. Don't let life get in the way. It goes by faster than you expect. Story number 5. I would say losing my enthusiasm and passion was my biggest regret. As a child, I was always trying to do or prove I was good at something. Loved hearing compliments, making friends even though I was awkward, and generally just more positive. However, at age 13 to 14, my outlook changed. A lot happened. I changed schools multiple times, lost family members, and wasn't able to do some of my previous interests. I took mistakes or insults more seriously, and I closed myself off, which did help me stay out of trouble. But my connections never went higher than school friends at most. Then in high school, I became more cynical and passionless. Because why do extra work if it's not needed? I didn't try to date because I didn't care. I only talked to people after they talked to me first, because why reach out? Who cares? Then around college years, I started a physical therapy degree program, but started overthinking things, not knowing whether I really wanted this. So I kinda settled my way through an Associate of Science degree and stopped before I got in the program. But now I have no idea what to do next. So here I am in my early 20s, hoping to God that I find something to be passionate about, or just have the desire to try something, anything, before I reach my 30s. Currently, I'm trying to go back to school for a business degree, which is not something I'm enthusiastic about, but it's better than basically having nothing. I'm currently trying to be more passionate, emphasis on trying. This degree is basically my leap of faith. I hope to God this goes somewhere. I am not special for having these problems. I'm no better or worse than you, whoever may be listening to this. I just hope and pray we all can figure our lives out before it's time for us to leave. Because life is hard and we all need some divine assistance in life sometimes. Story number 6. My biggest regret is being in a relationship in high school. I was a 15-year-old sophomore, and the person I was dating was a junior and 2 years older than me. The relationship made my high school experience horrible because it felt too demanding. In the relationship, the person was controlling, obsessive, and even isolated me from my friends. And last, pressured me to have sex before I was ready. I didn't realize how miserable I was until I got out of that situation, which was unfortunately 4 years long. If I could do it over again, I'd stay single and just enjoy the friendships I had at the time. What I learned is how important it is to speak up when you're not comfortable with certain things. I've also learned about how people will word certain things to manipulate you. I know I was just a dumb kid at the time, so I've forgiven myself for not knowing any better, but I was very naive. Story number 7. My biggest regret is letting myself get super obese and unhealthy when I was young. I got really obese when I was about 10 to 12, and now at 17, I'm still trying to lose all that weight I gained. It's taken a serious toll on my mental health, my physical health, my relationships with people, and my personality/emotions. But slowly, I'm getting better and better. Hopefully soon, I can fix the wrongs of my younger self. Story number 8. My biggest regret is caring too much about what other people think of me. It is really a challenge for me and gives me anxiety whenever I stare or talk to other people. I realized that I wanted to control the way they perceive me. I'm 20 now, and so far immersing myself in a social environment, in a new experience. Yeah, it really sucks feeling like people are judging me, but now I'm noticing I also judge myself. I really have a lot of insecurities. I don't like myself enough. I guess that's because of how I view others. Story number 9. My biggest regret was not being there for someone who isn't with us now. She didn't see a point to life, so she wanted out of it. If the experience has taught me anything, it's don't hesitate being there for someone, even if they don't ask. I saw signs I couldn't ignore. Story number 10. Years ago, during an education course, I met a girl who I got along with perfectly, and we shared almost all my interests and hobbies. There was a spark between us that I realized too late, so I wasn't able to take proper action. I never took things further, and I regret never asking her when I had the chance. Story number 11. I really regret a lot of things in the past, but the biggest one that I regret is not caring about the people around me. This includes my family. I only cared about myself and about my life, but when the year 2020 hit, I felt all alone in the house with nothing to do. So I went ahead and hung out with my family, and I learned on that day I should care about the people around me. Story number 12. My biggest regret has to do with this girl that was hitting on me in high school. She had a crush on me and eventually married someone else after graduation. I regret not taking her friendship seriously because deep down, I did like her too. I was just traumatized to pursue her because the first time I confessed my love to a girl I liked, I got rejected. I was in shambles. Just because one girl didn't like me back, I was afraid to do the same to the girl that could have been my future beloved. Story number 13. When I was in college, I found out that someone from my old elementary school who used to pick on me went to the same college as me. When we met up, we decided to catch up a bit. I've always wanted to ask him why he used to pick on me when we were kids, but I never had the courage to ask him, and I felt awkward if I had asked him that. I felt that moment could have been my moment to ask him and finally get some closure, but I never did. To this day, I always wondered what could have been, but I can only speculate. Story number 14. There were times when I've met a few girls online. At first, the conversation was great, but then they demanded me to send them some money via e-transfer. And it was the kind where something dramatic was happening to them and they needed the money for their quote-unquote emergency. In other words, I was scammed. In my family, it's very frowned upon to send money to people I don't really know that much, and I unfortunately fell victim to all of that. So that is what I regret the most. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate online dating. I've had plenty of success with it. However, I guess the lesson I have learned from all of this is, when it comes to meeting people online, be careful who you speak to. Story number 15. My biggest regret? I'm not sure. I think it would have to be not talking to this girl in my biology class in grade 11. Let's call her K. She wanted to take selfies with me and get my attention, but back then I was just immature and said no to everything. I wasn't sure what she was doing. One time in grade 12, there was a grad cruise event where all grad students were encouraged to go. I, along with many of my friends, went and we enjoyed our time there. I didn't expect to see Kay there. She yelled out my name and told me to come to her. She finally did what she wanted, kissed me, and took a picture of her kissing me. At the time I felt bad, but now I regret not asking her out at the time. All in all, I learned that whenever an opportunity is given to you, you might as well take it because you will never know what the future holds. 2 years ago, she got engaged. Still, I have to try to keep my head high and hope for the best. Story number 16. I regret watching explicit websites from a young age. It took me a long time to free myself from it, and even now I still get the temptation to go back to that lifestyle because it was the only thing I knew. But I am grateful that God found me and saved me, and that I have committed my life to Him. And now in high school, I am sharing the gospel to people and helping them. Story number 17. I strongly regret not being able to stand up for myself when I absolutely should have done so. Okay, so what exactly happened that I want to talk about? Well, it seemed it was going to be a normal day, beginning of June. I was just strolling along my then usual route, and near the train station, I was approached by a man around my age. Things appeared innocent at first. He simply asked, "What time is it?" I politely answered his question and then wanted to move on and go to the gym. However, soon the conversation became much longer than that, as he started to ask me some rather personal questions, so to speak. I tried my best to excuse myself out of the whole situation and get as far away from him as possible, but he kept attempting to make me stay there and demanded a hug. But I had absolutely zero feelings for him, so I came in closer. In fear I could anger him, and he shortly kissed me and put his hand near my leg. Luckily, he stopped just there and didn't violate me. I told my family about the whole incident afterwards. I knew they were worried about me, but my dad showed me the most compassion. The lesson is, saying no can save your life and dignity, whether you're a man, woman, boy, or girl. Take it from me and don't make the same mistake I did. Story number 18. I spent all my childhood in an overly religious Catholic school. As you might expect, it was fairly strict, mixed with that some bullying, some edgy teenager energy, cringy, atheistical videos, and I started getting a skewed view of God and religion. As I went deeper, I started getting into really blasphemous music and just became a total edgelord. Every time anyone would even say, "Thank God," I would get physically angry for some reason. Eventually, I was sitting in a room, depressed and angry. Then, the biggest shock and reality check I had out of nowhere really shook me to my core as I realized I just went against the creator of existence himself. That's my biggest regret. I know people think often that God is just a made-up concept, but please, I do beg you, one day you'll have to meet him. Don't make the same mistake I did. My relationship with God will always have this past. Even as I hope to stand forgiven, I will have to carry the reminder that I went against the most loving, smartest, and strongest being ever, the creator of all my loved ones and the concept of existence himself. So this is the narrator speaking, and I don't have a story to share tonight, but I will say that story number 16 is the one I relate to the most. Instead, I'll leave you with this amazing piece of information that I think could change somebody's life. Around 2,000 years ago, when Jesus died on the cross, some of his final words were, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." They, meaning the people who crucified him and treated him with cruel and unfair punishment. Jesus asked God to forgive some of the most ignorant and evil people to have ever lived. Now, isn't that something? So, to put it simply, having faith in God is a very powerful thing, because even though we may not forgive ourselves for our mistakes a lot of the time, God forgives us if we're truly sorry for our wrongdoing and we ask for his divine wisdom and leadership in our decision making, which is a type of love that we cannot comprehend. So I hope this video provides you with peace and reassurance that, thankfully, faith in God is the only thing that matters in life. Specifically, faith through actions and not just faith with words.